Future superstars all below the age of 20 years old. The New Generation World 11 is a group of international youth players deemed to be the next generation of football superstars. Selected and recognized by FIFA, these are the 11 players destined to take over the football scene due to their skill and level of talent despite their age. 11 superstars, one for each position. How can our main characters possibly compete? 200 chapters into this manga, and we're only introduced to 3 members. And these 3 members are 3 of the best players in the entire story. I do believe that once we arrive at the U20 arc, we are going to be introduced to the rest of the New Gen World 11, as they will be the major antagonists of this arc. And I can say for certain that people are not ready for how good these young folks will be. The top 5 members are likely to possess skill far beyond the likes of Itoshi Sai, Kaiser, and possibly the comprehension of our Blue Lock players. However, for now, all we can do is be patient and make our predictions. In this video, we will be analyzing the story of Blue Lock and making predictions for each and every single member of the New Gen World 11, their positions, playstyles, and nationalities. If you enjoy speculation videos, please hit that subscribe button. Let's get this channel to 5k. I'm honestly too old to do this shit anymore, but let's begin. Okay, so let's first start off the list with our defense. So we already know about Don Lorenzo from Italy, an amazing player, an amazing talent. The dude was literally taken off the streets at like age 13, 14, 15, somewhere around that range. And Snuffy literally made him into a world-class defender at the age of 19. Absolute units, and I'm very excited to see his role in the U20 World Cup. The second defender will be a Netherlands player. I believe he will have similarities to Virgil van Dijk. Instead of being a shifty and versatile defender like Don Lorenzo, he could possess amazing power, great headering ability, which allows him to score goals from a simple corner kick. He's going to be an absolute monster on defense that you cannot get around no matter what. Someone that can stalk you and steal the ball from you at any moment. I believe this to be the case because on average, the tallest humans in the entire world are all from the Netherlands. On average, they have the tallest men and tallest women. He could also potentially be the strongest player in the manga, a physical monster. Uruguay's defender could also be an interesting character, a defender that's quick and able to cut off the passing lanes and intercept almost any pass, block shots, and even push the ball up the field at incredible speeds. He could be inspired by real-life player Ronald Araujo. By the way, I cannot pronounce a lot of these names, so just ignore the bad pronunciations. As for our center defense mid, I do think it's going to be that one random mysterious guy from PXG. I think his name is Chaffee. Based on his appearance, he is clearly inspired by Xavi Simons. We have already seen him in the story, however we're not sure about what his role is going to be. With the slight chance that PXG does have a New Gen 11 player, I do think he will have a very interesting personality. He's probably going to be a solid all-round player capable of doing everything on the field, but he keeps a nonchalant attitude, mostly letting Win do all the work as he'd rather just not do anything if he doesn't have to. He's probably super young and only tagged along because Loki wanted him to. I do think he plays for the France national team. As for our midfielders, why don't we start off with Itoshi Sai. So we already know a bunch about Itoshi Sai, but I think people kinda underestimate how truly talented he is. Like in football, a large pool of talented players are both from Europe and South America, around 90% of them. If you don't believe me, look at the statistics in the story for yourself. 2/3 of our New Gen 11s are both from Europe. The World 5 has 3 members from Europe, 2 members from South America. Master Strikers have 4 European players, 1 South American player, and every New Gen 11 team so far is a European team. So as I said before, the best players with the most talent mainly come from Europe and South America. Okay, so let's continue with our midfielders. Gavi/Pedri inspired. So, some of the most talented players of all time, Gavi only being 18 years old, Signing a professional contract with Barcelona, the Spanish player is the definition of a prodigy. His counterpart Pedri might be the better player, however the story of Gavi might be the one that gets referenced in Blue Lock. I also believe that the reason Itoshi Sai changed his mind was due to a Spain New Gen 11 member. It's highly likely that this guy was so dominant in Real Madrid's youth team that he showed Sai that it is genuinely possible to become the best in the world as a midfielder. I also think that it's a high possibility for the New Gen 11s to have multiple players from one nationality. However, for the sake of this video and fully fleshing out each major nation, I'll only do one. Okay, now from Spain, we move on to England, our final midfielder. So I do believe that the England midfielder will be a very dominant player, probably the best player overall for the New Gen 11s. I think he's going to be a physical unit. Think of him as having more skill and talent than Sai, while having better physical stats than someone like Barrow. This is an absolute prodigy. I think the author could possibly reference Jude Bellingham for this one. It would be an amazing character, no doubt. There's also a slight chance that he could create a center attack midfield based off like Phil Foden or someone small and shifty just like Itoshi Sai, and this could be his New Gen 11 rival. But that's pretty much it for our midfielders. Okay, now for our forwards. I do think that Blue Lock being a striker manga, the forwards will be the most dominant players, so I do think it's fair to say that out of the entire group, Kaiser will probably be the weakest link out of all the strikers. This could also be the reason as to why Kaiser is so insecure that he only picks on those weaker than him, because the other New Gen 11 strikers are so far out of his league that he doesn't even try to compete with them anymore, and he'd rather just compete with randoms or retired bums. I could go in depth about Kaiser's insecurity and irreparable ego, however that's for another video. Brazil. Okay, so I'm sure we all saw this coming. It is super necessary to have a Brazilian prodigy in this story as a New Gen 11. He would be a very skilled player, very shifty, probably similar to someone like Vinicius Jr. from like a real life. I think that would be his inspiration, and I genuinely think that this guy could be a top 3 New Gen 11 player at least. He would be an absolute monster for sure. And lastly, the last New Gen 11 player will have to be from Norway in my opinion. And this is kind of a stretch, but at the same time not really. I think he can be the final hurdle for the Blue Lock 11 before Julian Loki, a absolute demon of a striker, someone who was forced to carry his team no matter what. Not being from a talented European country like Germany, England or Spain, he was forced to compete against these top tier teams all by himself. A striker that's so dominant that he's considered to be an unstoppable force. Oh yeah, and also, so we do need a lanky black African man with insane goalkeeping skills. He's definitely going to be the New Gen 11 goalkeeper, so yeah. As for honorable mentions, okay, so this is kind of tricky. I know I didn't have Argentina here, which is kind of trippy as I do believe there probably will be 4 strikers in a striker manga. So Kaiser and the Brazilians on the wing. Furthermore, aiding the rivalry between Germany and Brazil. Norway having the physical striker that's seen as the unstoppable force, and the other center forward being from Argentina, being the smartest player in the league. He could easily be like a better version of Isagi to like be Isagi's future rival or something, I don't know. As for the lesser honorable mentions, Korea is pretty good. You know, Korea is known for having very talented young players and fullbacks. South Korea came 4th last year, and the year before that they came 2nd place in real life. And 90% of their 2022 World Cup team consisted of U20 players. Like, that is absolutely crazy. So their young core is really good. So if the author was trying to be realistic, there would definitely be a New Gen 11 player from South Korea. Imagine our current Blue Lock team entering the official World Cup against Chris, Snuffy, Noah, and all those guys, and actually competing and doing very well, qualifying, getting out of the group stages, and actually playing in the round of 16. It would be insane. As for the other countries, I'd say Israel isn't a bad option. Their U20 team is pretty good as well. Same for Ukraine. Also, lastly, this is a stretch, but if the author actually did this, it could be the best move in the entire Blue Lock manga. Imagine a New Gen 11 United States player. So hear me out. We all know that people from the United States are absolute egoists. Like, bro, if Blue Lock is so crazy already, and we haven't even seen a single player from US. Imagine how insane it would be to have an egoist from the United States. That dude would be an absolute menace. It's gonna be absolute madness. So if he actually does that, that would be amazing. But yeah, that's pretty much it.